Hey guys, my name is Steven. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys a little bit about computers and how they work. So to start off, who here has either built a computer or knows someone who has built a computer? Awesome. So firstly, I'm going to go over a couple of parts in a computer and kind of what they do. So I'm going to start off with the main component of a computer. Here's the motherboard. It's this big square guy back here. It works as the spine of your computer. All your parts are going to be plugged into this, into your motherboard, and they'll have certain socket types, which I'll go over, and different ways that you're going to have to make sure you purchase a product so then it can fit into that motherboard. The other main piece of your computer will be your processor. It's hidden actually by this right here is a water cooling, a water cooler. The processor is right behind here. It's a little silver square piece of metal. So with a processor, that's going to be the brain of your computer. It'll determine how fast things run. It's going to determine a lot of the performance values of your computer. Another performance value will be right here. This is your graphics card. You won't need a graphics card if you don't do a lot of gaming. It's still optional to have that, but that's it. Inside of it, there's another processor in here. But what that chip will do, it's meant to run the algorithms that games will throw at it, and it will. This whole casing here will keep that card cool. So it's just a separate thing, and it's not something that you have to have. The next thing I'll go over is your RAM. So your RAM is your random access memory. There's these little things you'll plug in your motherboard up here. What the random access memory will do is it will hold any data that you're not going to be necessarily saving on your computer, but that you'll be constantly working with. So if you open up Google Chrome, that's going to jump right onto your RAM because you're not saving what's on you're not going to be saving constantly what you're looking at. It's just going to be there and displayed for you. So that's kind of how RAM works. The next thing I'll go over is your hard drive right here. So the hard drive is your main storage space of your computer. This is also a solid state drive, which can also act as the same thing. The hard drive is going to be, normally you'll get more storage here, and with the solid state you'll get more performance, so it'll be quicker. It'll load things quicker, you download to it quicker. It's pretty cool. Yep, the next thing I'll go over are some building tips. Actually, I'll go over which parts to buy and what to look out for. So the socket types for a motherboard. So I'll start off with the RAM up here. So the RAM will have a socket type. So right now, the most recent socket type is DDR4. And what that means is motherboards will have certain RAM types that they're made to use. And so right now, if you have a DDR4 motherboard, and that'll be listed in the description of the motherboard when you purchase it, you have to buy DDR4 RAM. If you buy DDR3 RAM, that's the more previous version of the RAM, that will not work, and you'll have some really weird issues come up. Regarding the processor, processors will have, it can be either an overclocked processor or a non-overclocked processor. If you have an overclocked processor, it's going to end with a K. So like the most recent version of a processor is like the i7-7700K. That's a overclocking motherboard or a overclocking CPU. And that means that you can tell it to run itself quicker. So as time goes on and as your computer slows down, you can kind of speed it back up again. Let's see. For your graphics card, I said previously that was optional. So if you do a lot of office work, don't worry about it. If you do gaming, the main performance values that this is going to determine is your resolution of your screen. So if you're running like a 4K screen, you're going to need to get a much higher end video card to update those pixels on that screen. If you're running something like a 1080p monitor, you can scale back and you can get one of the lower cost versions, but that will be a determinant. Over here are your hard drives. I spoke about those a little bit earlier. I'll go a little bit more into depth about these. So here's your hard drive. What the hard drive is you'll or at least with that piece of hardware, you're going to be paying mainly for storage. You're not going to be paying nearly as much for speed. And the solid state drive is the actual opposite. So you'll be paying for that performance, but it's going to have a lot less memory to it. And then down here is your power supply. With your power supply, you're going to want to make sure that it's certified. If you don't make sure it's certified, you purchase a really bad power supply or you don't have enough wattage in your power supply, normally you're going to want about 700 watts. If you do an office build, keep it closer to 600, but it's always better to go over than to be kind of iffy with it. So make sure that's a little bit over. So now I'm going to give some tips on when you actually build a computer. So first thing before anything is read the manual. When you get your computer, your motherboard is going to be the main manual you want to look at. Everything you can see through all these wires, they all plug into the motherboard in some way. That's the spine of your computer. That's how everything can talk and interact between the parts. Otherwise, they can't speak. So that's the main thing, is read that manual, see how things plug in, and make sure they're in the right spot. Be careful of static. If you have your motherboard and you accidentally shock it because you're walking across your carpet to go touch your computer, you shock it and it's not ground to anything, there's a lot of little transistors in here and one can pop and then you won't know why your computer's not turning on. So that's one thing just to watch out for. Normally it's not a big issue, but it's definitely something to watch out for. And then my final thing with the tips on building is just make sure that when you're putting parts in, be firm and push them in, but don't force anything. Because if you start forcing things and you have something out of place, it can break, and that's no fun for anyone. So I'll conclude this with just saying, make sure when you go to purchase a computer, you need to have the right socket types. You need to make sure the wattage is okay. This is pretty easy to do. Like when you're purchasing a motherboard, just look at what socket types it takes, and then go find parts that will help that out, and go purchase parts that will fit those types. And with this, you can save tons of money. I personally built over 6 or 7 computers, and each time I either built for friends or personally, and I've saved hundreds of dollars. So this is just kind of an informative speech for you guys going over the computers, and hopefully you guys can save a little bit of money in the future as well. Thank you.